What you are about to see is a year so dark, so filled with tragedy, that it will forever be remembered as one of the worst in football history. This isn't about broken records or broken hearts from a loss. This is about lives cut short, about dreams turning to ash, and about incidents so shocking, they'll make you question everything. This is the story of the 7 worst football tragedies of 2025. Number 7, the heartbreaking loss of a young star. It happened in the blink of an eye. On August 19th, a normal school day for a young football hopeful in Alabama turned into a nightmare. August Borden, a 15-year-old freshman with his entire life ahead of him, was critically injured at his high school. The details are so disturbing because nobody seems to know what really happened. Initial reports from the school claimed it was a traumatic fall, but when his parents saw their son in the ICU with a fractured skull and broken bones in his face, they knew it was more than just a fall. It was so bad he was unconscious for almost 2 full days. His family is now asking for answers. They've heard conflicting stories, one about a simple fall and another about a violent encounter with another student. They believe the school is trying to cover something up to protect its football program.
One of the key things is we've not been able to talk to the student, in the hospital, or he's been, under the influence of medication while he's healing. So I think once we can actually interview him.
The investigation is still ongoing, and this young man's future hangs in the balance. It's a tragedy that shows sometimes the most dangerous place for an athlete isn't on the field, but where they least expect it. Number 6, a nightclub fire and a fallen hero. We've all heard about athletes who give back to their community, but few have given a more selfless gift than Macedonian midfielder Andrei Lazarov. His story is one of ultimate heroism and ultimate tragedy. On a quiet night in Kochani, a devastating fire broke out at a nightclub. As chaos erupted and people scrambled for their lives, Andrei, just 25 years old, didn't run. He ran in. Witnesses say he was seen fearlessly running back into the burning building, not once but multiple times to pull people to safety. He saved an unknown number of lives that night, but in his final act of bravery, he was overcome by smoke and flames. Andrei Lazarov, a professional athlete, died not from a tackle or a fall, but from saving others. He paid the ultimate price. His club released a statement calling his act one of courage and humanity. It's a brutal reminder that sometimes the true measure of a man isn't in his stats, but in his character. Number 5, a bizarre and tragic fall football has seen some strange accidents, but few are as bizarre and heartbreaking as the death of Aaron Bupenza. He was a prolific striker from Gabon, playing in the Chinese Super League and living a dream most of us can only imagine. But on April 16th, that dream ended. At just 28 years old, Bupenza died after falling from the 11th floor of his apartment building in China. The circumstances surrounding his death sent shockwaves across the football world. The news was immediately filled with wild speculation and rumors. Was it an accident? Was it something more sinister? Authorities quickly investigated and ruled out any foul play, officially declaring it a tragic accident. But the fact remains, a powerful athlete in the prime of his career, someone who played in front of thousands, died in a sudden and mysterious fall. His death is a sobering reminder of how fragile life can be, even for those at the top. Number 4, the car crash that silenced a star. In a year of tragic car crashes, one hit especially hard. Zimbabwe international Brian Banda, a talented midfielder for FC Platinum, was killed in a brutal highway collision on June 29th. Banda was just 29 years old. He wasn't just a club player, he was a national team star, representing his country with pride. But his life was cut short, along with 2 other people, in a crash that left fans and teammates in mourning. This story is a cruel reminder of how quickly everything can change. One day you're training, preparing for your next match, and the next, you're gone. It's a loss that left a huge hole in Zimbabwean football. Number 3, the balcony fall. No one can explain what would make a man fall from a 3rd-floor balcony. That's the question authorities were trying to answer after Nigerian forward Abubakar Lawal died in Uganda on February 23rd. Lawal, a striker for Vipers SC, was visiting a friend when he fell from a shopping arcade. The details are murky, and the circumstances surrounding his death have led to an official investigation. It's a tragic story made even more mysterious by the fact that no one seems to know exactly what happened in those final moments. The silence around his death has left a community in shock, with many questions and few answers. All we know for sure is that a young, promising football career ended tragically and under a cloud of mystery. Number 2, the war in the stands. Sometimes the beautiful game becomes a battlefield. In July of 2025, that's exactly what happened in Argentina. A Copa Sudamericana match was supposed to be a showcase of talent, but it devolved into pure, unadulterated violence. A stun grenade was was thrown into the stands and the stadium erupted. It wasn't just a brawl, it was a riot. Fans were attacked, some with sticks, and the violence was so out of control that the match had to be abandoned. The result? At least 3 fans were killed, dozens were injured, and nearly 90 people were arrested. The most horrifying detail? A child was reportedly attacked during the chaos. It's a sickening display of how tribalism and anger can turn a sporting event into a lethal scene. It's a stain on the game that reminds us that some of the worst incidents in football don't happen on the pitch, but in the stands. Number 1. The crash that shook the world. Now, we come to the incident that left the entire football world reeling. On July 3rd, 2025, a tragedy so unimaginable happened that it felt like a nightmare. Liverpool forward Diogo Jota, a star in the prime of his career at just 28, was killed. But he wasn't alone. With him was his brother Andre Silva, a promising footballer in his own right. The two were driving a Lamborghini on a motorway in Spain when, according to a preliminary report, a tire blew out. The car veered off the road and burst into flames. Both brothers were killed instantly. The details are heartbreaking. Jota had just gotten married 2 weeks earlier and left behind his wife and 3 young children. He was an international superstar, a Champions League winner, and a man who was about to start a new season for one of the biggest clubs in the world. This wasn't just a loss for Liverpool or for Portugal. It was a loss for football itself. The football world mourned as one, with teams, players, and fans from all corners of the globe paying tribute. It's the kind of story that reminds us that no matter how famous, how wealthy, or how talented you are, life can be taken away in a single terrifying moment. It's the worst incident of 2025, and a tragedy that will never be forgotten. If you thought these stories were heartbreaking, wait until you hear about the players who collapsed and died during a live match, leaving the entire stadium in trauma. Click the video on your screen. I'll see you there.